Hey guys and gals, it's Chad here from what is about to be residualdesigns.com, and I thought I would take a few minutes to show you exactly how I set up a website. A couple of people have been asking in the group what it is that I use for plugins and what themes and stuff that I use, and so I thought I would take you from beginning to end, from no domain name to registering a domain name, setting up WordPress, installing my plugins and the themes and everything that I use to set up my WordPress sites to get them traffic ready and more importantly ready for conversions. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The first thing you're going to need is a domain name, which I said I don't have mine yet, so I have messed around in here to find one, and I've picked the name residualdesigns.com. You don't have to put .com, it'll find it for me. And I'm on Namecheap.com. Namecheap is where I buy all of my domains. I've been using Namecheap for years. Namecheap's great. It does exactly what I need it to do, and I've never had any problems. So let me just make sure that I spelled this correctly. I can't tell you how many times that I've registered a domain name and left out a letter or something. So this is the domain name I want. It's spelled correctly. I'm going to add that to my cart. I also want to add this positive SSL certificate to my cart. You can see over here in my cart I have my domain name and my positive SSL for 1 year, and I'm going to view my cart. Alright, now that I'm into my cart, my domain name is spelled correctly here. Right here is where you can put the promo code in. You can find one below and save on this domain name. I'm going to confirm my order. Go ahead and sign into my account, and I'm going to check out with PayPal. Okay, we have sent our order for processing to Namecheap. It has thanked us for our purchase and given me an order number. I always just take a screenshot of this to save for my records, but that's completely up to you. You can also download the receipt. I'll also do that and put that into a separate file. So the next step is to click on this Manage button, and that'll take you to a list where you can manage your domains. So as you can see, I have a bunch of them in this account. I'm just going to find the one that I want, residualdesigns.com, and click Manage. I'm going to leave this open for now so we can step over to do step 2 of this process, which is to get hosting. Now I use HostGator for my hosting. I have been using HostGator since 2010. I've never had any problems. You're welcome to use whoever you want to for hosting. This HostGator has a cPanel, and how I'm going to show you to install this, it does use the cPanel, but quite a few of the other hosts do provide cPanel as well. If you're going to use HostGator, just jump over to HostGator.com. The plan that I use on HostGator is the baby plan. Unlimited domains is the reason I use this, so you can have multiple websites. The smaller plan is a little bit cheaper, but it can only have one domain on there. So you click buy now. So once you get to this page, you don't want to register the domain name. You already have the domain, so I'd click this tab here. Otherwise, if you leave it here, it's going to try to sell you the domain name. So say I already own the domain name, and then enter your domain name here on HostGator here. That way the two are separate. If one goes down, I don't lose both. I don't like to have both of them stored in the same place. If you select this one, they're going to try to sell you a domain name when you type it in here. So I already own the domain name, residual. And then it'll find my domain to pick as the primary domain. And then when you scroll down here, you'll see the baby plan. Here it'll let you choose how you want to pay. You can pay 36 months at a time and save 60%. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. You know, the longer duration you want to pay for, the cheaper the price can be. And so then you enter username, come up with a security pin, and then add your typical billing information and all that. All this extra stuff down here, you don't really need any of that. Here is a place to put in a coupon, put in my coupon code, and you can save, and then click agree to the privacy policy and click checkout now. Once you've signed up for your HostGator hosting account, HostGator is going to send you an email with details on how to log into your cPanel. This is my cPanel login. The email will look something like this, and it will contain your cPanel login, your username, as well as the first and second name servers. Now, these first and second name servers that you get from this email, you want to copy this name server. I'm going to copy this name server from this email. Edit, copy. The second one ends with a 4. They're the same, just 1 digit difference. And then I'm going to go all the way back over to our Namecheap account to where I'm managing this domain. And here where it says name servers basic DNA, I'm going to click this little down arrow and add custom DNS here. For my name server 1, I'm going to put in the name server HostGator gave me, and I'm going to paste it again here. I'm going to change this 3 to a 4. And now I have my HostGator namesavers in there. You have to click this little check mark here to save it. And then once you've saved that, it says DNS server updates may take up to 48 hours to take effect. So typically it does not take 48 hours. Typically it's done within a few minutes. But now that we've switched our name servers, we are done with our domain controls, and we can close this for now. Now we want to go back to HostGator, to our hosting, and set up our domain and our WordPress install. So you go to wherever your WordPress login is, to your cPanel login, and you just log in. Now cPanel stands for Control Panel, and this is the place on the back end where you can control all of the website functions and access to the server. This is where you set up your email addresses, for instance, and such things like that. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to set up our domain. Now, if this is the only domain that you have on the account, when you registered it, and this is the first domain you're adding, then it's already added your primary domain, so you can skip this step. But if you have a baby account with multiple domains in it, and then you'll need to follow along and add a secondary domain here. So I'm going to type in domain here in this search bar, and you see here it gives add-on domains. I'm going to add on a domain, and what this is doing is just basically adding on another domain to my account, giving me another place to store another website. So I'm going to type in and then it'll automatically, once I enter this, it would automatically populate these other fields for me. And I don't need an FTP account necessarily for this at this moment, so I'm just going to add a domain. Success! I have added the domain. So you'll see I have added the domain to my account. It gives me the option to add another domain. It also gives me the option to create a WordPress website. So from this screen where I added the domain, I can click here and automatically install my WordPress installs. I'm going to skip that for now and just go back to the main page. That way I can show you how to get there from here. If you weren't adding on a domain, if you already know, then you can just go to this button here and build a new WordPress site. So once you're in here, you're just going to select the domain you just made, residualdesigns.com, and then hit next. This down here is they're trying to sell you WordPress installs, and you don't need any of that. You can do it yourself. So right here, you're going to name your blog, Residual Designs. Admin, I wouldn't recommend putting admin here. Admin's a common name. If you use that, it makes your website easier to hack. So just use your real name or whatever it is that you're going to go by on the side. I'm just going to put my real name here for now, and just end it with a number or something to make it a little more harder to guess. First name, my last name, and my admin email. This is your main email address and where you want to recover. If you lose the password to this website and you want to recover it, then this is the email address. When you click the I lost my password button, that it'll send the email to. You can also change the password or reset the password inside of your cPanel as well. So I'm going to agree to the terms of service, and I'm going to click install. So now you see at the top here it is working on my install, while at the bottom it is selling me with thousands of high-end themes and such. So it's wanting me to buy themes. We don't need that. I'm going to use Thrive Themes, which is one of my favorite tools. It's not just themes, it's a whole suite of plugins. Thrive Themes is the name of the company, name of the website. But yeah, so here you see now it's popped up and it's given me the login, the address to my new login site, and my username and password for my new website, brand new website. So now our website is technically installed and up and running. Let's click this button and open in a new tab and see if it's working yet. And as you can see, it is not working yet. So currently we have this splash page here, which is put up by the domain company, because this domain this isn't completed yet, which means that our DNS that we changed, the domain name servers that says it take up to 48 hours to update, has not updated yet. So this shouldn't take that long. Like literally, usually, see, it's already, no, that's loading another domain page. So these, if it's loading pages that look like this, you can just hit reload. Then it hasn't propagated the new settings yet. So I'll wait a bit and come back. Alright guys, I'm back. You can see it's literally just been a couple minutes, 2 minutes literally, and the site is already propagated, so we didn't need to wait 48 hours. Although sometimes I have had it take over 24 hours, but I've never had it take 48, and usually, like I say, it's within a few minutes. So now I say I've refreshed this, and we come up with this page that says Mojo Marketplace. Anytime to get to your WordPress login, you just go to your domain /WP admin. Will take you to the same place this button here does, and I put my name, put the numbers after it. I go back to the cPanel and get the password they gave me. I'm going to change this because I know you people watching this are going to try to get in here. I'm just kidding. I am going to change it. I'm not kidding about that. Save password for now, just to get in here. And log in. Alright, so now we are on the inside of WordPress. This is what the back end of WordPress looks like. I'm going to dismiss this personal data and privacy thing here. And I'm going to immediately start changing some settings in here. So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to go to plugins. And I'm going to get rid of all of the plugins that come preloaded on this WordPress install because I do not need them. So you have to first deactivate. I no longer need it. Each plugin, Jetpack, deactivate. Deactivate Mojo Marketplace, deactivate Opinion Monster API, and deactivate WordPress Forms Lite. I do not need any of these plugins except I will keep I don't ever know how to say this, so I'm not even going to try. This anti-spam plugin here. You do have to set this up, which maybe we'll do in a later video, but I think there's plenty of other videos out there on how to do that. For the rest of these, I'm going to just continue getting rid of them. After I deactivate them, I'm just going to delete them. Too many plugins can slow your website down and lead to all kinds of conflict issues, and I have all the plugins I need. I'm going to install those, so I don't need any of these. Okay, so now that we have all of the plugins removed that we don't want, we have one remaining plugin left in here that we can set up later. I'm going to start adding back and setting this website up exactly like I want it. Now, I use a set of tools and plugins from a website called Thrive Themes. And Thrive Themes makes conversion-focused WordPress themes and plugins. I have all of their products. They offer, like you see this button here, get all of our products, a membership, or you can pay monthly, quarterly, or yearly. It's not very much. I think I pay like 75 bucks a quarter or something. But it gives me access to all of their tools and plugins. So they have Thrive Architect, Optimize, Thrive Themes, Thrive Leads, Thrive Quiz Builder, all these that you see here, and I do use just about every one of them. In fact, I at some point have used all of them and probably will on this site. So these are the plugins that I'm going to install now. I already have them downloaded. You'll get them from your members area when you sign up for Thrives. And yeah, there are free ways to do all of this, I guess. You know, you can mess around and try to figure out how to use WordPress and how to use HTML and how to use PHP. But for me, this is just way easier. All of these tools are built and constantly updated, and these guys do a great job of finding what works and helping. Plus, their support is fantastic. I've had issues, and you just go to their support and fill out a ticket, and they'll help you. They'll even log into your site and fix it for you on many occasions. They've done that for me. So I absolutely love Thrive Themes. So if you want to get hooked up with Thrive and use these tools, if you're serious about building an online business, then I'm sure you know that you need to invest in tools to get there. So this is one that I do use and highly recommend. So there's a link down in the description. Just click that and go grab your copy, and you can work right along with me. Heads up, I am an affiliate for Thrive, so I do get a small kickback when you click that, but I'm not recommending things that I don't use myself. This is really, man, I love Thrive. I built all of my websites for the past at least 5 or 6 years in Thrive, and each update it gets better and better, and yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that, but I am going to use it, and I'm going to show you. I mean, if you watch the rest of this video, you will see that I do use this stuff, and you'll see why I use it, hopefully. So let's get moving. So the first thing I need to do is install these plugins. Now, I can do this quicker through FTP, but just for simplicity's sake, I know there's a bunch of you out there who are not that technically inclined, and so I don't want to get into FTP and having to download all that. So we'll just use the WordPress interface here and install them one by one. So just go to install a plugin, add new, and upload plugin. I've got mine on my external hard drive. T for Thrive themes, and here's all the theme plugins and the Lux. So one at a time, I'll just install these. Install now. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, we have all of those Thrive plugins installed now. The main Thrive plugin that you're going to use, and if you only want to buy one of these, I think you can buy a lifetime license for like 67 bucks of each of these individually, or pay the membership. I'm not sure on all of them, but the main one is Thrive Architect, and Thrive Architect is what you use to actually build the site. So there is one more plugin that I'm going to add now that I have all these Thrive, add new, and that is a Google Analytics program that will make it easy to install our Google Analytics code so we can track who is visiting our site. So you just go to add plugins, and then in the search box type Google Analytics, and this one here is the one that I use. Add your Google Analytics tracking code. Last updated 4 weeks ago. Just always make sure you're getting something that's updated. Some of these haven't been updated. For this one hasn't been updated 5 months. See, so 10 months. Just want to make sure that you get something that has been. So I downloaded that one, and now I can activate it. And that will give us a place to put our Google tracking code whenever we get it. So there is also one other plugin that I will add at the end, which is WordFence Security. I don't add it to the end because it does sometimes cause conflicts and not let you save things right with Thrive. So I usually get my website built up like I want it, and then I'll install WordFence later. So yeah, coming back to that. But for now, we've got all of our Thrive themes, or all of our Thrive plugins installed. We'll need to go to our Thrive dashboard and enter our license. You can see they're all grayed out, and that's because I have not. So I'm going to go to the license manager here. You see they all say activate license, and put in your email address and your license key, which you get from the members area of your Thrive. Okay, success. New license is activated. So now your website, you can click here to go visit your actual website, and as you can see, it's just the default WordPress install. Nothing going on here. So now we're going to actually set up what we want the blog to look like. We have basically the structure in the back end now of how to build the site, but now we want to actually start making this thing look like we want it to. So when you click on this again, it returns you to the dashboard. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a theme, and I'm also going to use one of Thrive's themes. It's called Thrive Themes, but they also have a selection of themes. So I'm going to add new. And the one that I'm going to use is called Lux, and I already have it downloaded. So Lux from Thrive Themes here. I'm going to install it now, and then activate the theme. And now you'll see if we go back to the site, it has a brand new look. So this is what we're going to start with. We're going to change this quite a bit, I'm sure. But the first thing that I always do when I get a new website or design is to make sure that I have a logo. Now, you can put just a regular text logo in the a text font logo in the theme, but I like to have an image logo, and it needs to be about this size. So to create all of my images, I use canva.com. I have a pro membership with Canva, which allows you to create designs, and they have templates for all this stuff. Social media posts, documents. As you can see, just pretty much anything you want, and I love it. So this is what I'm going to do is come up with a new logo. I'll click logo, and hopefully in just a few minutes we can come up with a pretty decent logo for our new website. Now this logo is long and short, and so we need to create something similar for this header, or otherwise it's going to push it down or stretch it out. We don't want a big square right here, or it's going to misshape this header. So we want one that's pretty much about the same size. which we can resize it after. What I like about just clicking on logo, which if you click on just logo, it's going to make a 500 by 500, which is fine. So you have all these that you can choose from, and you see these ones by the with the crown by them are free for me because I am a royal member, or whatever they call it, basically a pro member. But if you have a regular membership, there are some free ones in here. You just have to find them. Anyway, so I just go through here and select something that looks similar, or something that I think will look good for what I'm doing. So residual designs is about creating reoccurring income. I like this kind of fancy looking. So I'll just grab something like that. I like the colors, and I'll just make it fit. I'll just mess with this until I think it looks good. Residual designs, designing income. Something like that. I don't know. I'm going to mess around in here for a few minutes. I'm not going to record all this because this file will be big. But I'm going to come up with a logo, something that will fit right here in this theme, and then I'll be back and we'll get right back to work. Okay, so I picked this logo here and messed around with it until I got this, residual designs. And I'm not exactly happy with it, but I'm going to let it roll for now. I might change it later, go back in here and look and see if there's anything else that I think might look better. But yeah, for now I'm just going to go with this. So I need to resize this to about 300 by 100. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to make a copy of it. That will save that one in my Canva file, and then I'll have this one as an original, and I'll have this one to mess with. So now I'm going to go to File and change dimensions, use custom dimensions, and change it to 300 by 100. And resize it. I'm not sure what this is, a filter of some kind. I'm going to group all these pieces together, and then I should just be able to drag it and resize them all. And I'm going to get this as big as I can without getting out of this box here. Alright, that'll work perfect. You see this is 200%, so on the website it'll actually look more like this. So that'll be perfect. I'm going to click download and download a copy. Okay, now that I have a copy downloaded, let's go back over to our blog. That's not our blog. This is our blog. And let's start making it look like we want it to look. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back into the dashboard. And I'm going to go to Thrive, and then I'm going to go down here to Theme Options. So right here where it says logo type, I'm going to upload my image here, select file, recent, copy of my residual ink, that'll be it. Pick that file, and then save my changes. And then you'll see it if I go back to my website here, we have a brand new logo. So now the next thing I want to do is change the color of that header. I don't want it to be gray, I want it to be white. So I'm going to go to Customize right here. I'm going to click on Headers down here. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and Theme Type, I'm going to choose Custom Color here. And that'll allow me to select my header color, which, yeah, F, 6 Fs is white. I'm going to put that in there. And as you can see, it'll change my header color. And now I'm going to publish. It's published. So I'm going to hit this X. It'll take me back out. And now you can see my header is white. I also want to change the background color of the page, so I'm going to go back into there. Colors, of course. Background color is gray. I want to change that also to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Fs, which will change it to white. And then publish, and then exit again. And as you can see, now we have a white background, a white header, and we are well on our way to making a good looking page. So the next thing that I need to do is to set up my home page, and for that, again, using Thrive, I'm going to go back into the dashboard, and the Lux theme that I'm using on Thrive, I'm going to go back to the Thrive dashboard, and if I scroll down to Lux, my theme here, this is the theme that I'm using, and hover over this little hamburger button, it's going to pop up a thing that lets me pick page templates here. So I'm going to select page templates, And I'm actually going to load in a couple of these. So for here, you can put your website information in here, your contact page URL, which will be, I'm going to put an S there for that. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. / contact is where I'll put the contact page, and I'm also just going to use the address here for the company address. For now, I'll update this later. Update this, and then that'll give you the information to put in the privacy policy and disclaimers page that I'll have it generate, and then I'll also have it generate the home page. Now I want to make sure that I click this button here that says make these pages editable within Thrive Architect, or I won't be able to change any of the pages in Thrive Architect, which is what I'm using to build them. So generate those pages, and as you can see now, I have home page 1, disclaimer page, privacy policy page. These two pages were on here to start with, so I'm going to move both of those to the trash. Okay, so we got 3 pages now. The next thing I'm going to do is change some of the settings in WordPress itself. So I'm going to go settings reading right here. And I am going to change this first one where it says my home page displays instead of my latest post. I want a static page for my home page, and I'm going to pick that home page 1. For my post, I'm just going to leave that blank for now. I'm going to put a blog in here in just a minute, but for now that will work. So I'm going to save that. And now if you see, we go back to our website, it looks totally different. We have a totally new layout for this page, which is coming from that homepage 1 setup. So this is actually a post grid that's going to fill in our latest blogs. We don't have any blog posts, so there's nothing here now. And then just some area above and below that we can edit with Thrive Architect. But for now, let's go back and change one more thing in our dashboard before we get started. And that is in settings underneath permalinks is what I wanted to change. So under permalinks, just come in here and click this one right here that says post name. And what that's going to do is just rename all of the posts that we're going to create to the website name, residualdesigns.com / post name. Instead of giving it a number and a month and all this stuff that it wants to put behind it, you want this simple for both Google, for your keywords, and for your people to be able to read. So just come in here and switch that to post name and then click save. Alright, well, I'm going to go back to look at the site for just a second, and believe it or not, we are ready for content. The next thing I'm going to do is assign this primary menu so I can get my menu going across the page. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to pages and create some new pages. So I'm going to add a new page, and the first page I'm going to add is contact, and I'm going to publish this here so the page is live. And once I publish it, I'm going to launch it in Thrive Architect here. Now this is your first look at Thrive Architect. This is going to be a simple one for the contact page, but this is what I use to build all of my pages and all of my posts. It contains all of these elements over here on the side, and it really is as simple as drag and drop. So on my content page, what I of course want is a contact form. So I'm going to drag a contact form out here, and bam, just like that, I have a contact form. I'm going to save it and hit preview, and this is what your contact page now looks like. Perfect, right? So, alright, I've got a contact page. Now, I can add pages and posts and all this from here too. So I'm going to add another page, and this page is going to be my blog page. So all I have to do for this, for now, is just name this blog and hit publish. And one more page. New page. I'm going to add one more. This is going to be the About Us page, or About page. So I'm just going to call this one About, and I'm going to publish it. I'll build it later. Okay, so now I've got all my pages. I'm going to go to Appearance to Menu so I can set my menu up. I saved this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave page. Okay, now we're in the menu. Actually in the menu. It's hard to say. We're in the menu. But this is where you create your menu. So I'm just going to come here and give a menu a name. I'm going to say main and create menu. Work. I'm just going to say create menu. Oh, menu name. Main. Huh. Add menu below. Create a new menu. Let's try that one. I don't know why that's not working. Okay, well, I'm not sure why it didn't work the first 3 times, but okay, my menu's called test. It doesn't really matter what it's called because I can say right here and make this my primary menu. So what I want to do is add these pages that I want to the disclaimer, to the apprentice registration. So I want blog and contact and about. I guess I didn't save that about page. That's why it asked me, do I want to leave the page? So I'm going to add these two to the menu for running now. Contact for blog, I guess, and save my menu. And then I'm going to go add that blog, that about us page again, because apparently I didn't save that. And publish. Okay, now I'm going to go back to appearance menus. See, it didn't ask me that time. And then I'm going to add that about us page to the menu. See, now it's on the main menu, which is not the one that we want. That's weird. So I can go to test, which is my primary. Select that one. Yeah, see blog. So I'm going to add this one to that one. So it added that main one that I typed the first time. It just didn't register for some reason. So it just goes to show you sometimes this thing doesn't do what it's supposed to. About us, contact blog, ABC. Like that. ABC. It doesn't really matter. So now we have a menu. I'm going to save the menu. And now you'll see if we go back to the website. We have a blog, about us, and a contact page from there. Awesome. So the next thing that I am going to do is to load in a couple of posts so we can start seeing what these post grids and stuff look like, because right now all we have is this default post, and so I'm going to start changing that. So how that works is I'm just going to go add a new post. So I've already written a post and went to Canva and created a couple of images for it. So I already have those downloaded and ready to go. So what I do is I use AI Writer. I love this program here because it allows you to focus when you write it. If you full screen it, let me show you real quick. You see how it highlights only what you're looking at? It allows you to focus on what you're writing. I love this program. Plus, it have it on my phone as well, so it syncs automatically with my phone, so I can start writing here and then walk out of the room and sit out on the porch and write on my phone if I want to and come back in. But so I use AI Writer for this on a Mac. And how I do this is I click this button here, hold it down, and when you do it, it lets you put it to one side. I put that on one side, and I put my browser on the other. Take me just a second to get this set up. So here's my browser. Full screen yet. Click on that little green button there, hold it down, and allow me to put it over here, and then I can put this over here. So now I have my post on one side and my editor on the other. So the first thing I do is copy over the title, How to Make a Fortune. This was an article I wrote helping one of the gentlemen in the Quick Start Challenge group who was a mechanic. I'm going to paste this title here. Now, this is where more tools of Thrive start to come in handy. The first thing I do is when I put a title here, How to Make a Fortune Repairing Cars, I click this Add a New Headline button. And then I click, Can you earn a living repairing cars online? And I add a new headline, and I add 2 more headline variations. A quick way to earn a living repairing cars online. Exclamation point. And what Thrive headline optimizer will do, it will automatically, when it lists these in that post grid on my blog, it will automatically swap these headlines in and out and test which ones get more engagement. And we can set that up later, but I think it's automatically comes set to automatically pick the winner when it becomes statistically evident which winner it is. So you can always just keep this running in the background, and what this does is it just incrementally improves the bounce rates, people staying on your site because now they're interested in more articles to click on, and it increases your click-through rate over time, meaning people click to more articles on your site and stay on your site longer. So just little improvements like this, man, can really make a difference in your website over time. So I always, every post that I add at least 3 headline variations. And later, when it picks a winner, I'll add a couple more to test against the winner. So my headlines are always getting better and better on the blog. So now that I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is publish it. Okay, so you can see I've got these headlines, and it's already, it'll give you your engagement rate as statistics come through. So we have that set up. So the next thing I'm going to do is shorten this slug. You see how it makes the URL, the slug of the page, how to make it puts the whole title with spaces in between it. So what I'm going to do is just come in here and shorten it. If you have uh, keywords that you're trying to rank for, then you can shorten it to those, but I'm just going to shorten it to repairing cars online. I'm not trying to rank for anything here, so perfect. And now that I have all that set up, now I'm going to launch Thrive Architect. Now this is how the page is set up. So it comes in, I'm going to change all this. So it comes in with the title that you have, the date that you posted the post, what category it's in, and who posted it. I can change all this, and I will change all this somewhere else. So then it puts the title of the article, so how to make a fortune repairing cars online. And then right here in this little space right here is where I add all my content. And of course, it's in this small view right now because we've got it half and half, but this is just how I copy and paste everything over. This will also collapse out of my way to allow me to get a little more room. So right now, this doesn't look like much, but when we get done, it will, I promise. So here's how we start. So we kind of got to get an idea of how we want this to look in our mind, because if we paste all this over in one paragraph, we're going to have to break it up later. So what I'm going to do is probably put an image at the top. So when I set the feature image, it's automatically going to put an image at the top of this, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. So it's going to, this blog post is going to have a headline at the top, it's going to have an image, and then it's going to start with the text. So I'm going to put maybe a couple of paragraphs of text, maybe down to here of text, and then split this where it's in 2 columns with a picture on the left side and the text on the right side, and then maybe finish it with another straight paragraph. So I just kind of look at the amount of text that I have and kind of figure out how I want to add white space to break it up visually and get it all together. So that's kind of what I think I'm going to do. Okay, so now that I have an idea of what I want it to look like in my head, I'm just going to break this text up some so I'll be able to work with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a few paragraphs over here. So I'm going to drag this paragraph here, and I'm just going to duplicate it a couple times. So now I've got 3 paragraphs, and I'm going to break this up into 3 paragraphs. So I'm going to take maybe this much, copy, and put it in this first one. Again, this is just, there's no science to this. This is just what I think will look good. And I can always change it later. And then I'm going to take down to here, copy, paste that in there, and then I'm going to take the rest of it and put it in another one. And I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to full size it. Full size it. There we go. And I have my post in here broken up into 3 paragraphs. So now when I load that feature image in, so this post is set in Thrive in the default to have a featured image that I'm going to set on this page here. Actually, we can go ahead and do that, so I'll show you what I mean. When you scroll down right here, set featured image, let's upload one, select file. I'm going to set this as featured image, and then I'm going to update this. And now it's updated. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to make sure that I save this, so I've got all this in here. I know I did save it. And then I'm going to reload the page, and you'll see what I mean. See, now that I set that featured image, it puts the title above it, and then it has the featured image set here, and then my paragraph starts. So I'm going to have this paragraph here, and And then to break it up, I'm just going to throw some columns in under this paragraph. I'll pick 2 columns. I'm going to have some stuff in the sidebar, pictures and stuff, so that'll break up this side. So I'm going to put a picture in this column here. So I go back over here and just grab an image and drag it out here. And I'm going to pick this one here, which I made in Canva, which is a skinny, tall one, to put here next to this post. So you see I have my picture there. And then I can just click this text here and drag it into this column. So now I have this text next to this column. As you can see, it's not quite long enough to fit next to there. It needs a little bit more. So I'm going to take this last sentence out of here, and I'm going to cut that. And I'm just going to paste it up here just for kind of spacing things. See, that's a little better. And then backspace this up. Now, another thing that is great about Thrive. So now you can see this page is kind of broke up visually, and it looks a lot better than it did. But there's too much space here. So I can look first and see if there's a line under it that needs to be deleted, and there's not. So I can click this. Up here always tells you where you're at in Thrive. So if I click this picture, I'm on an image, and the image is in a column, and that column is in a set of columns. So this is how you can more easily navigate what you're selecting here. But if I select this paragraph here and go to layout and position, I can grab this bottom margin and just pull this up here to kind of decrease that spacing. Same if I pick this paragraph, if I pick this side's column, I can move this down to better match with the top of that picture there. And that's what makes Thrive so awesome, is you can just move stuff around like that. So here, there's too much space between here. I can just grab this and bring it up. And perfect. So I'm going to save that. And now from scratch, we have built this entire post. Let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to preview it. And man, we have our first post, how to make a fortune repairing cars online. And it's all laid out with nice white space. And the rest of this stuff will get fixed. The author box at the bottom that just says Chad 18 right now, we'll fix that. And we'll put some stuff in the sidebar. But for now, I'm going to do the exact same thing and copy over 2 more posts. So I'll have something. Because look at this. Now when I click back to the home page, you'll see that it's loaded our first post into our post grid. So this is what our post grid looks like at the moment. As you can see, it's not too appealing, but as you can see, this is kind of ugly looking at the moment. So I'm going to add a couple more so we can see what we're looking at. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I've copied 3 posts in here, and now I'm ready to change how this looks. I don't like how stretched out these are. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this Hello World post, this first post. So I'm going to go to the dashboard and post and get rid of this one. I can just trash it right there. All right, I'm going to go back to the website. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to open this with Thrive Architect now, and I'm going to start actually making some changes to this home page. Okay, now I have the home page open in Thrive Architect, and as you can see, these are post grids, and they're just pulling in the posts, and you can set these to pull in by category. So I could say, you know, Facebook tips here, and have a category set to my post for Facebook, and it would only pull in Facebook tips here, and then I could have, you know, blog post ideas or whatever for this post category. And actually, these are because we imported this template from an older version of Architect. All this stuff needs to be migrated in. See, it'll say migrate element. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually just going to start all over and show you how easy it is to build this entire page from scratch to start with. So I'm going to delete all this old WordPress content here, and we are going to build our own home page from scratch and get used to using Thrive Architect. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag a background section out here. And your background sections can stretch to the right here. This makes it full width. And these are basically containers that you can use to separate and break up your page in a nice visual way. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a background container there. And I can control, if I click on that, you notice I have the background section selected. which gives me this entire menu over here on this side of options of stuff that I can do with this background section. So I'm going to get a background style. I'm going to pick a color, and I actually want to use the color from this logo here, if I can find it. So what I'm going to do is open another browser, residualdesigns.com, and then I'm going to use this color picker right here to pick, actually this one over here I think is the one I like better, yeah. And I'm going to pick this color, and then I'm just going to copy that. And this background color, I'm going to paste that right here and apply. So that matches the background of our logo now. And now I'm going to put a heading in there of some sort. I'm going to put a paragraph in there. I'm going to make sure that this text is white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that changed that one. Alrighty. So what I'm actually going to do inside this is I want to keep this stuff in the middle kind of tight. So I'm going to add a content box. So watch this. I'm going to add this content box anywhere in here. And I'm going to grab this heading and drag it into the content box. And I'm going to grab this paragraph and drag it into the content box. So now you can see if I pick this paragraph here, select it, I have a paragraph, but the paragraph's inside a content box, which is inside a background section. Right? So you can go to layout and position here, and I can control the max width of that content box. This is actually, I have the paragraph selected, so I'm going to undo that and select the content box. Same section, layout and position. I'm going to make it more narrow, so about 628, and then I'm going to center it, and that gives me a nice content box here in the center. So what I'm going to do with this box up here on the home page, I'm going to do what's called kind of a bookend design, and it's where kind of you use the top and the bottom of the page to create bookends of an opt-in of your brand in order to help build your list. I know we're going into week 3 of this challenge, and it's going to be centered around list building. So I'm going to add something to these areas here to kind of build a list. So I'm not sure what that is yet, so I'm going to think about that, and I'm just going to get it laid out right now how I want it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put an image. If you just click something over here, which I accidentally just did, it automatically adds it to the bottom of the page. So if I click button here, for example, you see it adds it to the bottom. And then whatever I click paragraph, it adds it to the bottom of the page. So if you want to add something to the bottom of the page, the quick way to do it is just to click it. But I did not mean to click it. I was trying to drag it. Sometimes the mouse doesn't want to work right. So in either case, I can still take this image here and drag it wherever I want it. So I'm going to drag this image up here. And I'm going to upload a different image, so give me just a second. Right here. Okay, so I select my image, and then I insert it into the post. So now I have this image here. Now this image is way too freaking big, so one thing that you need to do with all of your images is to make them the size that they're supposed to be before you upload them, which I did not do here. So I'm going to make this image small. Let's say 181. Let's go 180, 180-ish. And then I'm going to go down here to borders and corners, and I want to round this image. So I'm going to cut off all of the borders. So what I did was just grab here, and you can drag up and down to create to round the corners. Likewise, I can click here to pick a border color. I'm going to put a white border around this, and I'm going to make it about 3 pixels, and apply that. And then I'm going to go to layout and position and put this image in the center. Right? So I'm going to have a little bit of text down here. I'm going to copy this paragraph by hitting this duplicate button and move it above this. So I'm going to have a little bit of text above, a little bit of text below, and then I'm going to have a button underneath all of that. Alright, so the button. Now also, right now I do not like how far down this header is. See how much white space is under this. So I'm going to select this whole background section And I'm going to move this entire background section up until it looks like I want it, around there, around 60. So I'll round this to 60. And see, that's much closer. And the point of that is I want people to see this button without having to scroll down. So I'm going to add some text here and some text here, but I don't want this to be way down the page by the time people see it. So I'm going to take a second and think of what this opt-in can say. Or I'm going to come back to that later and just type that in here, and I'll show you how to format that. I'm just going to continue on and build the rest of the page right now, I guess. So I know this looks a little crazy, but it won't when I get done. So the next thing I'm going to add is, I'm going to add another background section underneath this one now. And section options, I'm going to stretch it to go full width. I'm going to leave this one white. I'm not going to put a background section in it. What I'm going to put is a heading. And I'm going to kind of rebuild that page that we had before. So I'm going to say the latest from the blog. Just like that. And I'm going to put a couple of these little. Perfect. And then here's my text controls. I'm going to hit center to center it. Latest from the blog. Perfect. And then I'm going to add a post grid. So I'm going to scroll down here until I see post grid here. And I'm going to bring it out here. And as you see, it automatically populates my post grid. It put it into columns of 3 instead of 4, which I can change if I want to. Before we had 4, but I kind of like 3 better because it cuts them off a little more here. So once you have a post grid in there, you can select it, and here you can edit the grid options. So I'm going to click edit the grid options, and you can see in edit the grid options, I have to click done when I'm done down here, but I can change the layout. For example, I can take the title, if you click on these little dots, and move it above the pictures. So now I have the pictures above the titles, or I could put the image at the bottom and the read more button at the top. Any way you want to do it, you can arrange it. So I kind of like to have the featured image at the top, then the title, then the text, then the read more. That's how I'm going to keep it for now. And I'm going to go ahead and exit the grid mode, and you saw that reminder come up to tell me to save my page, so I am going to go ahead and save my page to make sure I don't lose it. Okay, I think these titles are too big on all of these boxes, so I'm going to go through and start working on this post grid. So I can select the post grid, and then I can go to typography here. Post grid options, I'm sorry. Title font size. So let's decrease that title font size. Much better. About right there. And I can change the text color of the read more button. So let's change that to that same color. I'm going to go get that color from this background right here and make it a default color. So I'm going to go here to my background styles and select this color, and I can hit add, and I'm going to add it as a favorite and apply. And then I'm going to go back down here to, where were we? Post grid options, sorry. And change this to that blue now. Zodiac blue. Apply. And that changes my read more text to that color. And I don't like how some of these titles are a little bit longer and it makes it push down. I like how it keeps the box even. But you can also change, like if you check this, select the post grid, and say you didn't want it to be, post grid, edit post grid options, layout. You can also change it to vertical. So it will be layout like this, which I might do. I kind of like this better, actually. Vertical, or you can change the number. So let's put it back to horizontal and say you can have only 2 columns. So it would stack it like this. This is not bad either. I might stick with that. Yeah, actually I will stick with that for now. And then you can have grid or masonry. Masonry kind of makes adjustments for those title differences and stuff, so it makes the boxes don't have to be symmetrical. They just kind of stack like bricks. I'm going to keep it grid so it keeps it locked up. And you can also change whether you want to have a summary, an excerpt, or the full text in here. And so the excerpt, let's see how much longer that is. Yeah, I didn't really seem to make a difference between, maybe that was what was already there, summary. Yeah, it didn't seem to make a difference in that one, I'm not sure. So here's where you can change your query. You can say you want all post, or you can hit post with, you can put pages in here, or you can also put filters and say you only want certain categories, or you want posts with certain tags, or posts written by certain authors. Then you can put all those in here and control these post grids. So for example, you could make a category page if you wanted to, a category of some kind up here. So let's say some service that you provide. Let's say you did social media management, and so you had a Facebook management button up here, and when you click that, it just took you to a page, and the only thing that was on that page would be a post grid with all your Facebook posts that you can set with tags or categories. So that page will be all about Facebook, but everything will be found on your blog. So that's where we're at for now. All right, so I'm done with this. Again, I'm going to save the page. And basically that's it for now I'm going to do on this page as far as post grids. The other one had 2 post grids on it. I don't really have a need for a second one at this point in time. Maybe if I have some different categories down the road, I will put a second post grid on there. But instead, what I'm going to do is finish this lead capture and then copy it and make it a little bit different, but put it back at the bottom. So yeah, I'm just going to work on that. I'm going to pause the video and come back when I have an idea of what I'm going to change this to, I guess. Alright, I'm back, and I've just taken a few minutes to write a little copy that I'm going to put in here in the place of these placeholders we put, and I put it in my favorite program, Grammarly, over here to spell check and all that, and everything has come back fine, so I'm going to paste all this over here. Command C. Right on. Now I can get rid of that, just open this all the way. Perfect. And I have this page like this. Perfect. So now I just got to start dressing this up a bit. So this is a bit too big. Takes up. So about right there. I'm going to center it. Perfect. I actually wouldn't mind it being a little wider, and the problem is this content box we set to be this wide. So I'm going to make this content box about 900 pixels. See, that's much better. And then I can make this heading a little bit bigger. I could just grab this font here and make it bigger. Perfect. As much as it'll take for 2 lines. There we go. And then this image, I want to make this image smaller. Perfect. I don't need my giant head out there, so that'll be good enough. And then there's too much space on both sides of this image. See, there's 20 margin pixels here, or 20 pixel margins. I'm just going to take those to 0, and I actually might even negative it some. There we go. And same with this. I'm going to bring that up. Give it a little more space than that right there. And these I want to, I'll let's see what they look like justified. I'll leave them left aligned. And I'm going to save that. And let's preview it and see what it looks like. Right on. Finally, a quick and easy way to build a website without being a tech genius. Great. Got us a little opt-in there. Button doesn't do anything yet but reload the page, but that's fine. We can move that button up a little more and gain a little more space there. And other than that, I may want to shorten this just a little bit so it doesn't hang over here. Make it 2 lines instead of 3 lines. So I'll take a little bit of text out of this somehow. And yeah, looking good so far. So I'm going to go back to our Edit with Thrive Architect here and work on this button. I want this button to say, first off, yes, show me the free video. And I'll show you a trick here with Thrive. So I want the first letter of all these to be capitalized. You can do that here with text transform. So I'll just text transform that to capitalize all those letters. And the heading, I think I'm going to capitalize text options should be in here. Text transform, all capital letters. And then let's take the size down a bit so it fits back to 2 lines. Perfect. Okay, now I need to do a little work on this button and get it looking like I want it to look. So as a general rule for buttons, you want them to be a standout color on your page, different than anything else, so they draw the eye. So I'm going to work on getting this button the shape that I want. So let's make it a little larger. That's too big. Yeah, medium looks good to me. And we could change the style of the button. Let's give it rounded, or complete full rounded. Actually, I like maybe or gradient. I'm gonna go full rounded. Apply that. And then I want to change the color maybe and go with something like a green. Maybe that'll stand out. I kind of like that, and there's a green in the logo. So I'm going to leave that like that. I want to add this actually to my colors as well and apply. And there we got that button. And I'm going to move, then click it, and I'm not on the button. See, I'm on the text. So I'm going to get on the button and then go to the layout and position and then drag it up a bit. And then put just a little space, not that one, that one. I'm just going to hit Command Z and undo that space. This one on the bottom. And give just a little bit of padding below it. And I think that'll work. Perfect. Now we got 2 lines there. That'll shorten it up just a little bit more. Save that. And starting to look pretty decent. So then I'm going to select this entire background section right here, and I'm going to hit duplicate. I've got 2 of them. I'm going to select this one and drag it down underneath my post grid and drop it below. So now I've got kind of the same thing, the bookend thing happening on the end of both. So I'm just going to change this one and say something different. And there we go. Watch over my shoulder as I build this website from scratch. I'm going to transform all letters, capitalize, and then just shrink it again until it gets back on 1 line. Alright, and then save. I want to select this post grid or this background section actually above it, and I don't like how close this is to that. And it's actually it's because we moved this background section up. This one has a negative border, remember, and so this one will have 2 because we copied it. So see, it's got a negative 60. So I'm going to move that back down to positive 20 probably, or maybe right around in there, 35, and that'll give us some space between our post grid and that. And perfect. Alright, and for now, I'm going to change this post grid back to vertical layout probably because I don't like that there is one missing here. I don't have 4 posts yet, although this tutorial may maybe be one, but I think I'm going to use it as an opt-in to see me build this website from scratch or something. So let's change that post grid back to post grid options back to vertical. I mean horizontal. No, I mean vertical. There we go. Now I'm going to change that this too and see if that makes a difference now that it's this way. No, it still didn't really seem to make a difference, did it? Alright, so I'm just going to leave it for that. And done. And save. And I'm going to preview it. Alrighty folks, this is what we've got done so far. Coming right along, coming right along. So the next thing I want to do is change all these this stuff, take this design by Thrive themes out of the footer and the WordPress, take that out, and the copyright's fine. So put my privacy policy and disclaimer link in the footer, and then I need to make these buttons work. So that'll be the next thing on the list. So let's start with the footer. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and to theme options here in my Thrive dashboard, and somewhere in here, right here, you can see this will be my footer text. So here's the footer copyright links. I'm going to turn those off and save it. And right here, I'm going to type the code to put my privacy policy and that I had Thrive generate and my disclaimer page. But if you do not know HTML, you can cheat and do this by going to create a new post. I'll show you how to cheat and get the HTML code for it. And I'm not going to give it a name or anything because I'm just going to use this box down here. So visually, I'm going to type privacy policy and space, and then I'm going to put a dash, and then I'm going to put disclaimer. That's what I want to appear in my footer. And then I'm going to select disclaimer, and then I'm going to click here to put a link in it, and I'm just going to type disclaimer, and it should find that page. Disclaimer page, alright. And I'm going to apply that link. There we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing with privacy policy, highlight it, click link, search for my privacy policy page. Privacy policy page, apply the page, and that gives me that link. Now I'm going to go here to text, and this gives me the actual HTML code. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy this code in its entirety, and I'm going to go back to Thrive theme options. So when I leave, it's going to say leave because I didn't save my page. Doesn't matter, I don't want the page. So now I'm going to go back here to copyright, to my footer copyright text, and then I'm just going to paste that there, that bit of code, and I'm gonna just space and put a dash here just so it adds a little space in the footer. You'll see what I mean. And then save changes, and then go back to preview the entire website. Alright, now you see our footer has copyright, remove the Thrive themes, and now we have a link to our, getting too far down there, privacy policy and our disclaimer pages. Perfect. So the next thing we need to do is get this button working. To get this button working, we're actually going to, I want to create a light box that pops up for people to opt into. So we're going to use Thrive Leads to create that. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and go Thrive Dashboards, and I'm going to open Thrive Leads, which is one of the plugins that comes along with Thrive. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, so now that I'm in Thrive Leads, which is a plugin from Thrive Themes, I'm going to go down to the one that says Thrive Boxes here and add a new Thrive box. I'm going to call it a homepage box, or this homepage will be fine. Add the Thrive box. Perfect. And then I'm going to edit this Thrive box, create a form. The form I'm just going to call main opt-in. Opt-in. And then I'm going to edit the design of that form. Alright, so now we're in the light box. I get to choose a template of what I want the light box to look like when it pops up. So I'm going to choose, they have two-step, which is like here where you would have to click the button, then the opt-in would pop up. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. Yeah, this personal branding one. One step. Is that one step? One step, yeah. Screen filler. And that's the one I'm going to choose for now. So I can make these fonts match my theme fonts by just coming here and picking inherent theme fonts, and see it changes it to whatever the font of my theme is. And we'll talk about that here in a minute because we haven't changed any theme fonts. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this edit form elements I have to pick here. And then I say send me a free video explanation form. Update that. This text update. Yeah. Let's Still got the text selected, typography here. I'll increase that font size. And then I also want to put it in the center of the button. Yeah, I'll change this picture out to something. Hit exit mode. Let's change this picture. Change image. Let's put me in the Kern in there or something. Media library. There's me and Frank Kern. Let's put that in there, and then save that. All right. So now let's go back to, we saved that. Let's go back to our Drive Architect Residual Designs here, and let's reload this page. Alrighty. Now I'm going to select this button and go down here to Animation and Action. I'm going to delete this link action, and I'm going to click this button here and say I'm going to click Open a Thrive Leads box, and then select the one that I built, the home page, and then click Apply, and then save. And that's all there is to it. Now this button will open that Thrive box. So I want to duplicate this button and drag it down to the bottom and put it above this button and delete this bottom button. So now both the buttons will work. Save that once again. And now I'm going to go to preview it, and I'll show you what we got. You click the button and the pop-up comes up just as we build it. Now I don't like that pop-up, so I'm probably going to change it a little bit as far as the design goes. But now you see how easy it is in Thrive to set that up. This bottom button will do the same thing, and we close it out. But yeah, that's how you set it up. This has gotten too big somehow again, so why that is, it's not in here. I'm gonna reload this page. Maybe I zoomed in or something. No, it's bigger now. Reload this page. Yeah, it's bigger. See it? Just shrank and then came back. Alright, so save it. That was weird. Let's see if that fixed it. That did not fix it. Let's try 38. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so there we go. That is a page built from scratch with lead capture and everything. The one thing we did not do is set this form up. So let's go do that. Let's go back to here, which is where we were editing the light box, and click on this. And when we click on this, you'll see it says connect to service. We'll just click that button there, and this is where you would just select whatever it is that you would add a new API connection. So I can go in here and add my Aweber account, for example. They have a Aweber, and you just connect it, and you type in your username and password, click allow access, and now your Aweber is connected and ready to go. So I go back to this form, reload it, and then I click this, connect to service. It'll say this API connection is already made. I'll click Aweber, and then it'll ask me which list that I want to put it on. So I'm going to say my 0 to 100 list, which is my $0 to $100 a day list, which I created for the other side that I want to move over here. And you can tag it here. So I'm going to say residual designs, new subs, or whatever. You can tag it if you want to. And then the forms required. Do I want to require the name form? I can just delete that. I don't need their name, and hit next. And then you pick what you want to happen on a success. For right now, I'm just going to say success, show success notification. Later, I'm going to redirect them to a custom thank you page, and of course, try to sell them something on that. Maybe so. That'd be the plan in the future. But for now, I'm just going to redirect to a success notification. All right, and then I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go back to the original page, go back to the page and type in my email, hit the button, and it says success. It takes me back to the page. So perfect. Everything is working and our page is set up. Oh, except one last thing. If you'll notice right now when I click on the blog page, it goes to an empty page, even though we have some blog posts. So I need to set that up, which we did in the beginning. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, settings, reading, and see, we left this blank last time, so I'm going to change this to blog, save, and we are good to go. Go back to the main page and click on blog, and as you see, we now have a running blog. It's showing my whole post. Yeah, I don't necessarily want it to do that. I want it to show excerpts, so let me change that real quick. So how we do that is we go to dashboard, and this will actually be controlled in the Thrive blog options, theme, blog settings, and right now I want to turn author name off, post category off, post tags is off. I don't want that author box at the bottom of the page for right now, and I want to show post excerpt instead of the, in the post display I want to show excerpt instead of the whole thing. So I want to save all that, and then once again go back to the main page. Perfect. And then check my blog page. And as you can see now, it just has the date. It doesn't have those categories and it has continue reading instead of the whole full blog post. So perfect. So that's it for now. Next thing I'll be working on is putting widgets in here and getting these sidebars just to look how they look. But from nothing to website created in just a few minutes, this is the power of Thrive Themes. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future videos when I'm going to deck out that sidebar and start working on, basically laying out the sidebar inside of all these blog posts, getting rid of all this default stuff and putting in custom stuff. So that'll be the next video. Until then, keep at it.